To celebrate the return of America's favorite ribbed-shaped sandwich, I've invented the perfect glass-shaped cocktail to pair with.
In 2018, Ryan Reynolds bought a gin company that almost nobody had heard of. No board of directors signed off on it. No investment bank ran the numbers. No Hollywood business manager recommended it as a career move. Reynolds bought Aviation Gin because he liked it, because he thought he could sell it differently than anyone else had, and because he had a specific idea about what marketing could look like when the person doing it.
This aircraft is equipped with Aviation American Gin. Please ensure that your seatbelt is fastened whenever drinking.
Actually owned what they were selling. 2 years later, Diageo, one of the largest drinks conglomerates on Earth, acquired Aviation Gin in a deal reportedly worth up to $610 million. Reynolds had owned it for less than 2 years. Then he did it again. Mint Mobile, a budget wireless carrier that he had invested in and become the face of, was acquired by T-Mobile.
And along with the entire Mint Mobile team and my Maximum Effort teams, I'm just absolutely thrilled with every aspect of this new venture.
In a deal valued at approximately $1.35 billion. Then he bought a struggling Welsh football club in the 4th tier of English football with his friend Rob McElhenney, turned it into a global media property and watched the club's commercial value multiply in ways that no sports business analyst had modelled.
Well, no, listen, never ignore a successful man who slides into your DMs.
Most people look at this and say, Ryan Reynolds got lucky. They are wrong. And understanding why they are wrong is one of the most useful business education exercises available in the modern celebrity economy. Because Reynolds did not get lucky. He identified a specific, repeatable formula and executed it with a precision that most professional investors never achieve. But here is what nobody has fully explained yet. The formula is not what you think it is. Chapter 1. The actor who studied the wrong lesson from celebrity business. Every Hollywood business story starts the same way. Famous person gets rich. Famous person invests in something. Sometimes it works, mostly it doesn't. The fame creates access, but not judgment. The money creates opportunity, but not discipline. The celebrity brand opens doors that the business fundamentals cannot justify keeping open.
That's why today, I'm introducing Aviation American Gin Homeschool Edition.
Ryan Reynolds watched this pattern play out around him for years, and he drew a conclusion that most of his peers missed entirely. The problem was not that celebrities were investing in businesses. The problem was that they were investing in the wrong role. According to Forbes' analysis of celebrity business ventures, the majority of celebrity-backed companies that fail do so because the celebrity's involvement is structural, their name and face attached to something they do not genuinely understand or control, rather than operational. The celebrity is decoration. The actual business is run by someone else. When the business struggles, the celebrity has no ability to add value beyond what their fame was already providing.
On behalf of Aviation American Gin, its parent company Diageo, we'd like to wholesale apologize for our previous commercial.
And fame, it turns out, is not enough to save a bad business. Reynolds looked at this and reached a different conclusion. He would not be decoration. He would be the marketing department. Not a spokesperson, not a face on a billboard. The actual creative engine behind how the brand communicated with the world, bringing a level of creative intelligence, cultural instinct, and execution quality to commercial communication that professional marketing agencies were not delivering for the brands he was looking at. That insight, deceptively simple, operationally demanding, is the foundation of everything he built. But the first test of it was smaller than most people remember, and it almost did not work. The U-Vesha. Chapter 2. Aviation Gin, the proof of concept. When Reynolds acquired a stake in Aviation American Gin in 2018, the brand was a genuine craft gin with a loyal but limited following in the American market. Good product, limited distribution. No commercial momentum that suggested the category-defining scale it would subsequently achieve. Reynolds' first move was not to take a traditional celebrity endorsement approach.
It's almost Mother's Day, that time of year when we recognize our moms for all the love and support they show us.
He did not shoot a glossy campaign. He did not hire a premium advertising agency. He created content, specifically designed to feel like it came from a person rather than a brand, that was self-aware, genuinely funny, and built around the implicit joke that a movie star owning a gin company was slightly absurd. The Peloton wife advertisement is the most studied example. When a Peloton Christmas commercial generated significant online controversy in late 2019, Reynolds turned around a response advertisement.
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Now.
A Peloton? I'm a little nervous, but excited. Let's do this.
Featuring the same actress, positioned as her character, discovering aviation gin as emotional comfort within 72 hours. The advertisement was seen by tens of millions of people. It cost a fraction of a conventional campaign, and it generated earned media coverage worth multiples of what any paid placement could have delivered. According to Marketing Week's analysis of the aviation gin brand trajectory between 2018 and 2020, the brand's awareness metrics moved faster than any comparable craft spirits brand in the market, not because of distribution scale, because of content quality and cultural timing, two variables that Reynolds controlled directly.
So bubbly, just like I feel every day I wake up after a long, full night's sleep.
As both owner and creative director. This was the proof of concept. The thesis that a celebrity who is genuinely running the marketing rather than lending their face to someone else running it can generate commercial outcomes that conventional marketing spend cannot replicate was validated in a specific, measurable, commercially significant way. Diageo saw the numbers, they made the call. $610 million later, Reynolds had his answer. But he had already moved on to something bigger. Chapter 3. Mint Mobile, Scaling the Formula. Mint Mobile is where the Reynolds formula moved from proof of concept to repeatable system. Mint is a mobile virtual network operator, a category of wireless carrier that leases network capacity from larger carriers and resells it to consumers at competitive prices. The MVNO category is crowded, commoditized, and brutal on margins. It is not, on paper, the kind of business that generates billion-dollar exits. Reynolds became a significant investor and the face of Mint in 2019, and he applied exactly the same playbook he had built at Aviation Gin, except at a higher level of sophistication and with a larger addressable market.
The marketing department asked me to be as explicit as possible when explaining it.
The content strategy for Mint was built around a specific insight about the wireless industry. Mobile carriers spend more on traditional advertising than almost any other consumer category. Their campaigns are expensive, generic, and largely indistinguishable from each other. They talk to consumers in a language that is either corporate or desperate, and they have been doing it for so long that the audience has completely tuned them out. Reynolds made Mint's advertising feel like it was made by someone who found the entire wireless carrier category as ridiculous as the consumers did. Self-deprecating, absurdist, culturally aware in a way that the AT&T and Verizon campaigns structurally could not be, because those brands had too much to protect to be genuinely funny about themselves. According to CNBC's reporting on Mint Mobile's growth trajectory, the carrier grew from approximately 100,000 subscribers when Reynolds became involved to over 3 million subscribers at the time of the T-Mobile acquisition. That growth rate, in a category where customer acquisition costs are extremely high and brand differentiation is extremely difficult, reflects the commercial impact of a marketing approach that was genuinely different from anything the category had seen.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Did you know that Mint's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back?
T-Mobile acquired Mint for approximately $1.35 billion in 2023. Same formula, different category, larger outcome. But the investment that most reveals the depth of Reynolds' strategic thinking is not a drinks brand or a wireless carrier. It is a football club in a town most Americans had never heard of. Chapter 4. Wrexham, the brand. Play nobody saw coming. In 2020, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney acquired Wrexham AFC, a Welsh football club with a passionate local fan base, a stadium that needed significant investment, and a place in the National League, the fifth tier of English football.
We are all smiles, absolutely. Me and Rob Mack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very excited about today.
The conventional sports investment playbook did not apply here. There was no pathway to Premier League riches visible from the National League. There was no existing media rights deal worth analysing. There was no franchise appreciation model that justified the acquisition on traditional sports investment terms. Reynolds and McElhenney were not making a sports investment. They were making a media and brand investment that happened to involve a football club. The Welcome to Wrexham documentary series, co-produced and distributed through Disney Plus and FX, transformed the club from a regional sporting institution into a global media property. The series documented the club's promotion push with a narrative quality and emotional intelligence that generated an audience far beyond any football-specific viewership. According to Disney Plus viewership data cited in industry reporting, Welcome to Wrexham reached audiences in markets where the club had previously had zero brand presence.
Stories are just a huge part of what we do, and recognizing that sports is storytelling.
The club's replica shirt sales expanded globally. Commercial partnership inquiries came from brands that would never have considered a National League football club before the documentary existed. By the time Wrexham achieved promotion to the English Football League for the first time in 15 years, the club's commercial valuation had been transformed beyond anything the pre-acquisition numbers suggested was possible. This is the most sophisticated expression of Reynolds' formula. He did not invest in a football club. He created a content property that used a football club's authentic, emotional narrative as its raw material, and turned that content property into a global brand-building platform. The sports investment generated the story generated the audience generated the commercial value.
It just seemed like an impossible dream, and what we're lucky to do is be as storytellers.
3 steps, each one deliberate, none of them accidental. Chapter 6. The hidden system behind the portfolio. Here is what ties all of it together, and it is not what the business press usually says about Ryan Reynolds. The standard analysis frames Reynolds as a marketing genius who happens to be famous. That framing is incomplete. It misses the structural logic that makes the portfolio coherent rather than merely impressive.
As anywhere in the United Kingdom.
But today, we are announcing Stoke Cold Brew Coffee.
Reynolds has systematically identified businesses in categories where the market leader's marketing is expensive, generic, and consumer alienating, and where the fundamental product quality exists, but is being obscured by the mediocrity of how it is communicated. Craft spirits, budget wireless, lower league football. In each case, the incumbent's weakness was not product. It was creative quality and cultural intelligence in marketing. Reynolds' competitive advantage is not his fame. His fame is a distribution mechanism. His actual competitive advantage is the ability to produce marketing content that performs like organic cultural conversation rather than paid advertising. Content that earns attention rather than buying it, at a cost structure that makes the economics of his businesses fundamentally different from their conventionally marketed competitors.
Now, add a dash of lemon juice. Fresh if you have a few minutes to squeeze one, or store-bought.
According to research from the Wharton School on celebrity-founded brand performance, the businesses that generate the highest returns are those where the celebrity's involvement creates a structural cost advantage rather than simply a revenue premium. Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, and Wrexham all demonstrate this characteristic. The marketing spend required to generate comparable awareness through conventional channels would have materially changed the economics of all three businesses. Reynolds' involvement replaced much of that spend with something cheaper and more effective. That is not endorsement. That is operational leverage.
Ooh. Did not see that coming.
And according to Forbes' celebrity entrepreneur analysis, the pattern Reynolds has established, acquiring minority or majority stakes in underleveraged brands in commoditized categories, deploying high-quality creative marketing as the primary value creation mechanism, and selling to strategic acquirers who value the audience and brand equity created, is now being studied and replicated by a generation of entertainment figures who are trying to understand how a movie star built exits that most private equity firms would be proud of. Most of them are missing the part that matters most. Reynolds does not invest in brands because he is famous. He invests in brands where his specific creative capability solves the specific problem that is preventing the brand from reaching its potential.
Meet Aviation Cranberry Blood Orange Gin. It's a perfect blend of botanicals and fruit flavors that...
The fame gets him the meeting. The marketing wins the deal. And the exit proves what was always true. The most valuable thing Ryan Reynolds ever produced was not a film. It was the business model that turned a gin bottle, a phone plan, and a Welsh football club into proof that creative intelligence, applied with ownership rather than endorsement, is worth more than any Hollywood contract ever written. Because in the end, he did not just sell products. He sold the idea that one person with the right instincts, the right creative voice, and the discipline to take ownership seriously could outmarket an entire industry. And twice, the market paid him over $1 billion to prove he was right. With Enjoy the... If this changed how you think about what celebrity business strategy actually looks like when it is done correctly, share it with someone building something right now who needs to understand the difference between endorsing and owning. Subscribe for more breakdowns of the business minds reshaping the celebrity economy. Drop a comment below. Which of Reynolds' 3 investments do you think showed the most genuine strategic intelligence?